Hello and welcome to ET Garage. I'm Eugene Tordo, and today's video is going to be about the AC system in my C4 Corvette. All right, like I was saying, today's video is about the AC system in my Corvette. If you don't follow my channel and you're new, this Corvette has over 278,000 miles on it. Not much is original. One thing that is original is almost all the AC components, including the compressor. The only thing that I ever changed in this when I first got the AC wasn't working, and that turned out to be the evaporator. Not the evaporator, the condenser. You know, one in front, that big thin thing in front of the radiator. That had a leak. Put a new one in. I vacuumed the system and recharged it, and I'll go over what I used when I recharged it. Now, before you go ahead and start asking me all sorts of advice on your AC system, someone asked me, I think last week, about the AC, and I guess he changed over to newer type coolant and put the oil in and the coolant in, and his compressor now runs real hot and something else is going on with it. I can't help you. You know, he said something about aluminum pieces inside the little officer tube and all that stuff. But this time is going to be a really big project on this, because basically I need to tear apart this whole section of the AC. On the 90 Corvette, the radiator reservoir, or coolant reservoir, is located right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. If not, I'll get into more detail in another video. I will not be installing this in a video. This is the evaporator. This goes in between the mounts up basically in front of your firewall, and this is what gets cold and allows all the cold air into your cabin. To get to this, basically you got to tear this whole section apart. So that's going to be a big project. First time doing that, and I decided, because this is still the original compressor, I'm going to replace the compressor. First things before I go into it, this is the second one that I ordered. The first one arrived, was wrong. And the way I knew it was wrong, this connection right here was pointing over here. Now the earlier C4s have it pointing this way. This is for your low pressure switch. This one is on the 90 and up. It should be this way as far as I know, at least 90 through 93. So when it's sitting in the car, it'll be sitting this way with this forward, and this valve will be down at a 45-degree angle towards the motor. So when you order one, check it, make sure you get the right one. I was able to return the other one and get reimbursed. That's good. Now onto the compressor. I ordered one, and days and days and days went by, and it didn't ship. So I contacted them, and they got back to me and said, we don't have it in stock. So they reimbursed me. I then tried another site, ordered a compressor. Compressor came. It was the wrong one. So I sent that back. Hopefully I'll get reimbursed for that. That I just sent back today, but here's a picture. I'll leave a picture up here of the one they sent me. And yeah, it's not it. Now, one other thing I wanted to do is change out these hoses. There's a bunch of websites that show pictures of them, and they have them on their websites and all that, but they don't actually have them. Nobody, as far as I know, has them. Everyone I checked. Some of the websites are good enough to say, like Top Flight, on their website, they show them, that they say due in. Yeah, so due in, nobody knows when. Maybe next year, of course, after the summer's over. We're supposed to get hit by a heat wave. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think starting Monday, we'll get a heat wave. But either way, it's going to be 80 and humid. It was 80 and humid today. I was out driving. The windows down, of course. No AC. Even though this compressor still seems to be good as far as I know, it does have a film of oil on it, and it's not engine oil. You can tell it's probably mineral oil, and so it's probably starting to leak. It's just a good idea to change it. It's not cheap, just like everything today. course, once I get this installed, I'll and new compressor in, I'll stick a vacuum on the system, and hopefully I won't find any more leaks. But, anyway, I'm going to move the camera around over to the table and go over a few things with you. All right. First thing I'm going to talk about is what I have in my system right now, or had. It's all gone now. I have a massive leak. Was this enviro-safe. It says R134A replacement with dye. This will replace R12 and R134A. And if you want it to, if you're just low on the low, you can use this. A lot of people don't like this stuff. So do your research on it if you decide to use it. This can is equivalent to 18 ounces of R12 and equivalent to 16 ounces of R134A. So this right here is 12 fluid ounces. And so this basically is equivalent to this plus four more ounces. Yeah. When you use, if you have an older car like a 90 Corvette that has the R12 in it, like mine does, it uses mineral oil. Okay. So you have to be careful. If you switch over to the R134A or R134, it uses PAG oil. Okay, so that's why if you switch from R12, which has this oil in it, you have to flush all the oil out of the system and replace it with this. Another thing, and what you can do with replace it to flush it will be this right here. When I repaired my system, I didn't want to completely flush the system and change over to 134A. So what I did was I just went and got the enviro-safe, which is compatible with both the mineral and the PAG oil, and used that. And whenever you replace a component, you need to add oil. For instance, the compressor should take about 3 ounces. Now, when you buy a new compressor, it may have oil in it already. It may not. So you have to check with whoever you're buying your compressor from, AC compressor from, and check it. But basically, since I'm putting a new evaporator on, I just need to flush the condenser and the lines. And the dryer accumulator, I'll be putting a new one in. I do have to add oil to this. I have to add oil to the evaporator. And I will have the compressor I'm getting come shipped with shipping oil, which I have to drain the oil out and add the correct oil. Now, I'm going to just switch over to PAG oil. And I'm going to try this product. I never tried it before. But this is a lubricant enhancer. It restores thermal cooling efficiency, reduces friction and wear, extends compressor life, contains UV dye compatible with R12, R134A, R1234YF, refrigerants, and lubricants. So this is compatible with that and the mineral oil that's used in R12. And it's compatible with the 134A. Even though this ain't R12, it's compatible with R12, and it's compatible with this stuff, which is industrial R134A replacement refrigerant. This is an enviro-safe product. This can is equivalent to 21 ounces of 134A. My system uses, I believe, 36 ounces. And I got 2 of these, which is more than enough. So that's not a problem. Now from what I read, I'm no expert on AC, but from what I read and researched, you can add, when I install them, I can add a certain amount of oil to the accumulator, a certain amount of oil to the evaporator, except a certain amount of oil to the other pieces and X amount of oil to the AC compressor. That being said, what really needs to be lubricated is the pump. So they do have a way where you can just inject the oil in it when you go to charge your system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the required amount of oil to the compressor. Well, first I'm going to add this. Then I'm going to add, I think it's 3 ounces that I need to add to the compressor. And you can look this stuff up in the factory service manual. So I'll probably add 1 ounce of this, 2 ounces of that. I think 1 ounce goes to the evaporator, 1 ounce goes to the condenser, and then the rest in heat, whatever's left in here. It should be a total of 8 ounces for the system though. So basically, from what I researched, if I wanted to, I could just put the whole 8 ounces right in the compressor and run it and let the system take care of itself. I honestly don't see why this needs oil in it. There's no moving parts in this, in the accumulator dryer. Inside this dryer are decadent bags, by the way, to help absorb moisture. That's one of the reasons you want to run a vacuum on your system before you charge it. That's to suck all the moisture out, especially when you replace components like I do in a hot, humid area like where I live, in the Northeast. So that will be coming in an updated video. And let's go back over to the car for a minute. All right, like I was saying, all this has to come off. I got to drain the coolant out. Don't believe I need to remove the wheel, but I'm going to jack it up because I got to jack it up to drain the coolant anyway. So I'll jack it up. I'll remove this wheel. I got to remove this inner fender, this side panel, this expansion tank, all these hoses and fittings, and get these wires out of the way, and then somehow get to all the bolts that hold this whole unit here in, all the way over to here. Getting along that firewall is going to be tough. That's the thing I'm worried about. I may have to remove the headers. I hope I don't. But that's going to be the tough part. That will be in another video. And placing the compressor is actually pretty straightforward. Basically, you unhook the belt, release tension on the tensioner and unhook the belt. Then unbolt your hose and unbolt your bracket right here. Unbolt, there's 4 bolts, 2 here, 2 on the bottom. And the compressor comes off. Oh, unhook this wire. And that's it. In my opinion, anytime you get a new air compressor, get it with a new clutch already installed. The clutch is so expensive, I think it's actually more economical to buy the compressor and the clutch together already. Now, the one I ordered does not come with this top piece. So this top piece will come off, and that will go back onto the new compressor. Hopefully they send me the right one. Once all that's done, I'm going to run a vacuum on the system, and hopefully I have AC for the heat wave next week. Because since I've refreshed this motor, I've ran into one problem after another. Like, I got refreshed the motor, then the brake booster went, and I did a video on that. I'll leave links up there. But did that and got it, and then it's been nothing but raining and all that stuff. And of course the AC went just in time for the heat wave. So tomorrow my compressor should come. So while I'm waiting for that to come, first thing in the morning, I'm going to get out here and get on to taking that out. And I'll have a video on that. All right. I'm hoping this is helpful some way. I'm no expert on AC. Like I said, if you have a problem with your AC, as far as the mechanical part of the system, I really can't help. I mean, majority of the time, when people have a problem with their AC, it's because they're low on a refrigerant. And if they're low on refrigerant, it means they have a leak. And if they have a leak, they probably need to replace a component. That's my experience with AC. This will be the first time, even though I used enviro-safe before, this will be first time using this industrial stuff, and this will be my first time using this power clean and flush, AC power clean and flush, and first time using this lubricant enhancer, and first time using PAG oil, which ain't no big deal. You put it in. Whenever you replace a major component of your AC, you always should replace this accumulator. These are the cheap, probably one of the cheapest parts of it. So to me, it just makes sense to replace it. Of course, in my experience, every time I had to work on an AC system, it's like when I first got this car, the condenser was leaking, and there was no refrigerant in the system, so I didn't have to worry about having it evacuated. And like right now, it's completely empty. I don't have to worry about it having evacuated. If you need some other type of work where it requires to remove the refrigerant, you need to take it to somebody, and it has to be properly removed. And what they do is they pump it out and put it into a container. And if you're using something like enviro-safe, like I'm using, a lot of places will not touch this. You'll have to find somebody that could evacuate this stuff, that's willing to evacuate it, before you can get them to work on it. Same with this stuff here that I'm going to use. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, so far my experience with AC systems, you don't have to worry about having to evacuate it because it already self-evacuated, either due to a leak or like I'm experienced right now, or usually because of the leak. If you want to know how I troubleshoot it and found the leak for the evaporator is, I pressurized it with air, and it wouldn't hold air. It would hold air on the high side just a little bit, but not on the low side. And if it's on the low side and you can't find an external leak, then it's probably the evaporator. Also, enviro-safe has a pine smell to it. They add a pine smell to it, so it smells like pine sol, and I could smell it inside the cabin of the car. That pretty much tells you that's the evaporator. So I'm not going to keep rattling on. I hope this video is helpful. Next video should be about me changing out that evaporator, and hopefully that goes well. So everybody have a great day, and God bless, and keep cool during this upcoming heat wave. 2025, summer 2025.